Hi, I'm Tommy. If you're not at 216 Creator Studios, this is what it sounds like. Now, if you are at 216 Creator Studios, this is what it sounds like.
Yeah! 216creatorstudios.com.
Hey, you're at Around the Piano podcast with Tim and Drew, and I want you to smile, be kind, and keep on keeping on. How you doing, big cappuccino man?
Hey, listen, nobody hates a cappuccino, right?
No.
Listen, folks, if you like what you see here today, go to that old Google box there, hit that YouTube channel, 216 Creator Studios. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, ding that bell for future notifications. We appreciate the support. You do not want to miss an episode, especially today's episode.
Oh, this is going to be great.
Oh, man, I'm always excited. I'm not behind the scenes today. We got Nico behind the scenes today.
We do.
He is producing today. I have learned that the younger generation is just more talented than the cappuccino. And I just keep saying that so I don't have to do it anymore. Right. Listen, so we did our NAMM, our last episodes of NAMM. That was awesome. Can't wait for the next round to come up.
Going to be fun.
Yeah.
Every year it's fun. It just gets more and more fun every single year.
And it does. And we're back to what I like to call the norm, right? Less work for Cappuccino and Nico. But at the same time, greatness comes down the pipeline. Always lifting it up here at Around the Piano and lifting spirits through music. If you haven't caught an episode of Lifting Spirits through music, well, you're missing out. It is a daily podcast. I don't know how you do it. It's more of a show.
Wonderful staff. Yeah, it's a little more of a show. And it's kind of like a live jam session every night. We never know what we're going to do. You know, like last night we did a Neil Diamond night.
And there's always a dad joke.
There's always a
dad joke.
Yeah. I won't tell one here because people will turn it off. But
let's not go that route. Not without introducing our guest. So tell me what you know about our guest, Bob.
I know Bob Anderson is the greatest singing impressionist I have ever heard. And he's been around for a little while. He knew the Rat Pack personally. And he just, we're going to talk to him about it, but he sounds like Tony Bennett. He sounds like Frank Sinatra. Sounds like Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin, all of those guys.
So listen, I'm in my 50s.
Yeah.
I am Chicago Italian. I am Shy Italian.
You're right.
As a Shy Italian, I grew up with Dean and Sam. My father, it was every barbecue. It was every family party. It was the record player, right?
That's right.
And when it would end, he would yell at me, crack me upside the head and say, play that again. You know,
right.
I'm a huge fan of that era of music, number one. And anybody that can finagle it and make it their own too. Awesome. I'm excited about this, you know. Without further ado, let's bring on our guest.
Bob. Hey,
bring on Bob.
Hey, you guys. I've been listening to you here. And nice to be here. And looking forward to talking to you about this stuff. I enjoy it. And he was getting the right things there, what we do. You know, was very fortunate enough to get into the Sinatra family, you know, because it was Nancy Sinatra that's where I started everything off. But first of all, I'm just going to say hello to you guys and You give me whatever you want to talk about. I'm with you.
Yeah, no. First of all, we're honored and humbled to have you on our show. And one of the things I want to throw out there is whatever happened to the big band music. You get a little bit of it here and there, some artists out there, but there's still a big call for it. And I want to say the younger generations today, Bob, they're listening to some of the old stuff, right?
Yes.
And it's so classic, and it'll never die. I want to see that guy on stage. I want to see Bob on stage singing that tune and then being like bop bop bop, with the band. Exciting stuff. Exciting stuff. So tell us, how did this start for you, Bob?
Well, the thing has started with me too, and I mean what you're talking about there too, between the younger generation today and than what it used to be, is everything's changed. It's like drastically changed. Um, the younger, the guys like Sinatra and Tony Bennett and Sammy Davis and all these guys, they're all gone. Everybody's gone. But they were the guys that made everything possible for the others to continue and to perform. They're the ones that started the whole thing off. They started off when they got together all through Europe. They would put their music. They'd all take all over the place. I've talked to them about that many times. And there wasn't anybody was singing the type of jazz that they were involved with. And jazz for me is, I really, that's my favorite thing, And but it was just great. But what happened in Las Vegas, things changed so much. I was opened up the first night that they opened at the Fountain Blue. You guys know the Fountain Blue? Have you ever heard of that one?
Yep.
Okay. It was in Florida, but now they made a bigger one, a beautiful one on the Strip in Las Vegas. So they asked me to, and I opened the show for them first day. So when we did that too, I mean, I looked out the window this night, and I was looking out there, and I could see these guys that were walking down the sidewalks, which everybody does there. But they were middle-aged people, and some of them very old. But the difference was they came there to see what Vegas used to be like, and what they, this is what they wanted. But very difficult to find it, what they're after, on the Strip today. The younger generation has changed drastically. I mean, good for them, and I listen to them. But anyway, they are the guys, that they want to come back, and they think that Frank and all those people are still in Las Vegas. I mean, the music in there. So they're not. And when I left, or when Sinatra and them left, he wrote some things for me, and gave me, he put me in the Sands Hotel, casino. And because when he was working there before, then he left. He went over to Caesar's Palace. He was the one that got me into the place he was working at before that. It was just a great thing. I stayed on it for almost a year, just straight in the place. And it's just wonderful. Vegas for me has been just really a great thing. I worked there. I never took any time off. I lived there. I was stayed for close to 35 years, and I worked every week for the 35 years. I mean, I'd take a couple of times off, take the kids camping or something, but that was it. I worked out that much on it constantly. And here's where I am now. And when I still come out to Las Vegas now, all the guys out there, they say, Bob, you're it, man. Everybody else is gone. Yeah. You're it. So I said, okay, cool. So I like what they're playing today, but really, I'm into what you were just talking about. I'm into the things that from the past that really were tremendous singers. I mean, these guys can really sing, not sing. People sing that. I'm not talking about anybody's name, but they're not in that league of what Tony Bennett and Frank Sinatra, and Sammy. Those guys. When it comes to singing, that's it.
Yeah, the days between Sammy, Dean, Jerry Vale, listen, these are all the greats. That is the definition of a freestyle artist to me. Because not only did they write songs, right, but they would get on big stage and then they would just improvise. It was the fusion of jazz.
Well, and their songs became their songs.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And so you carry that. You're last man standing. You carry that torch, and rightfully so. And you do it a benefit for sure. I'm hats off to you, my friend.
Well, thank you very much. Let me get rid of this before it's ringing.
Sure.
There goes Bob.
Yeah, it's fine. She'll get back later. So,
I'm real interested in that very beginning. You told me the other day, but I'd like you to tell our listeners and watchers the story where you ran into Nancy Sinatra.
Yeah. Oh, that story I just told you. That's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, we did. We laughed and we had you and I on there for a while. But I'll try to make it, a little bit shorter. But what happened was, I didn't. My family was we all like music a lot, and there was 10 kids in our family. Everybody liked it, and my mom and dad. But I got drafted right out of when I got to high school. I was taken right to Vietnam, and I stayed over there for a year and a half, and I was a platoon leader for 4th Infantry Division. So I got out, and I got home, and I wanted to change. I got to get out of here because I just went through all that. So I got my old ugly Volkswagen that somebody gave me, and I drove it out, and I was going to go to Los Angeles. And all of a sudden, when I got out there, I left from Chicago. You guys got the Route 66 thing.
Yep.
There. So I got on there, and I took off. But when I got out there, I was going to go to Los Angeles. I just happened to turn right, and I wound up in Las Vegas. And I pulled up, and I was never there, and I couldn't. I looked and holy cow, man! I'm reading all the things that people are there. So I put the car in, and I dressed. I had raggedy clothes on and long hair and the whole thing. I wasn't into anything. So I parked the car. I looked in there at the casino or the hotel, and I pulled my car in. I slept in my car for 3 days. So I pulled in there, and I went out, and I went into the inside the place, and I went to where they were. A bar. So I go in there and I said, "Hey, can I have a beer?" And he said, "Well, how old are you?" I said, "Man, I just turned 21. Okay, 21 years old." He said, "All right, yeah, show me your thing." So I did. And he said, "Okay, here's your beer." So I couldn't believe it. I was dressed like not very good at all at the time. So I get there, and all of a sudden, a journalist from New York or from Los Angeles came up and sat down next to me, and he said, he got talking to me, and after we talked a little bit, he says, "Hey, listen," he said, "you want to go in and watch Nancy Sinatra? She's rehearsing right now. She's going to open tonight." And they're all in there. So I said, "I can't go like this, man. How can I go like this?" And he said, "Don't pay any attention to that. Just go like this." So anyway, we go in there. Now I'm right in the back. I'm right at the back, and they're all performing. They had 60 people on the playing for Nancy. Daddy did that for us. He had 60 musicians. So I'm sitting there, and the Everly Brothers come out, and the Everly Brothers they're practicing a little bit. They're going to do their thing, and then they got into an argument, and they're known for it. I've known them now, but back then I didn't know them. They got a big argument and stuff, and Nancy came out, and they turned around to her and said something that they shouldn't have said, and I'm just listening to this because it just happened a couple of minutes ago. So the guy, Elvis Presley's guy that was running his thing, the music with her, walked over and said, "Get out of here. You guys are out. You're fired." So they kicked them off the stage, the Everly Brothers. And so they needed to get somebody because she was going to open her show in 3 hours. It was coming in. Now they took the guys in the front and got rid. They don't know what they're going to do now. So I told this guy next to me, I said, "Hey, hey, Steve." He says, "No, my name is Mark." I said, "All right, Mark. Listen, here's the thing, man. I'm a singer. I know I could sing, she's looking for somebody." He says, "Well, go tell her." I said, "What do you mean? I can't go like this." He says, "Go tell her. Do you want to be in show business? You better go get a chance." I said, "Well, I never thought about that." So, I go down there. I walk down. I go into the place, and it's got 60 people up there. And I go up and they're all, what are they going to get? They're talking, well, gee, the guys are gone. Well, how are we going to do this? So I'm going to Nancy. I go, Nancy. She didn't hear me. Nancy. And I went, Nancy. And everybody stopped. And they were all thinking, how did that slob get in here? I was just, raggedy everything, man. So I'm sitting there. I mean, I was really, but I'm 21, you look fine when you're 21 any day.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're looking at me and I said, Nancy, I'm a singer. I mean, I can do whatever you need. And they all broke out laughing then. And so, except the guy that was with Elvis Presley, his conductor, he walked over to her. He says, Nancy, give the kid a break. We're opening in less than 3 hours. So you need somebody. So all of a sudden they grabbed the mic and she went into the song. I know I stand in line until you think you find the time to spend an evening with me. She did it with her dad. Then I go and spoil it all by saying something stupid like, I love you. You remember that song?
Yep.
Okay. So she just gave me the mic and she started singing. She expected me to sing in some key along with her. And I did. So I sang it. When she got off with that, all the bands clapped their hands and she got up and came off of the place and hugged me and said, oh my goodness, okay, you're going to work with us tonight? I said, I don't know, am I? And she said, yeah, come on with me. So she goes down the street. I get out and open the front door at the place. Here's the most fantastic Rolls Royce you could see sitting out in the front of the place. She says, come on. I said, well, where we? That's there. Okay, get in. So we take off. I go down there. She walks in the place. She says, give him two tuxedos to everybody. And they said, Nancy, I don't know if we can do that. And I'm going to go through this real quick for you. So we get through it. We go back. We go upstairs in the place, very top of the hotel. And she closes the door, opens it's her room. She sits down and says, tell me about you. Who are you? What are you doing? How did this happen? So I start telling her everything about this here. And about an hour goes by, 45 minutes, a lady comes in, puts something on the table. She says, come on, go with me. I get up and Nancy, she walks right directly across, her room's here, right there. And there's the Everly Brothers. And the people are just taking it down and they're putting my name on it right now. Now I'm on the name of the nicest place in all of Las Vegas in all these minutes of time. I get there, she says, I'll be right back, okay? And she didn't come back for a little while. So I looked out the window and I threw the curtain out and everything. And they had my name already up on the place with everybody. And I'll get to show it to you guys too.
That's awesome.
I mean, it was just amazing. So I stayed there. I did the show with Nancy. And I mean, the people just flipped out because I was, from Vietnam and everything. But I got there and I stayed on three songs I did. But on the first song I did, it was with her husband. I was behind here. We didn't have time. I was just watching him. And all of a sudden, he goes this way, her husband, and takes what he's got like this, and it hits her wig, takes right off her head, and comes back and lands in front of my feet. So I was like, oh, man, what's happening now? So her wig came off right before, and I was like freaked out, man. So I went down and picked it up and went up to her, and here you go. That's all I could do.
Right.
So everything went on really cool. We became great friends. When the show was over, she was one of the guys came up and said, Nancy would like you to come down to her, say hello to her. She's in her room down the road. I get down there, open the door. Here's Elizabeth Taylor, Kirk Douglas, Henry Fonda, Jimmy Stewart, all these big stars. Frank Sinatra put them in. When you're in living where Sinatra was, and I got to know them all really well, he would tell you, he'd say to the guys, hey, you're going up there tonight. She needs something. So the band, she'll send all those people up there for Frank Sinatra, and she did. So I was sitting there, and I got to know them well, and not very well, but I know them. But I've seen them again after that a few times. But so then the next day, she took me up to Merv Griffin's, had his show up there. I went and did Merv Griffin. She said, Bob, you're just going to come along and watch. I'm just going to sing. So I said, okay. So she introduces me to him, and he says, "Well, would you like to sing a song?" And I looked at Nancy. I didn't say anything. So she said, "Yeah, let him." So I sang a song, and when I sang the song, I'll get to real quick to right here now, the ending. I did the song, and then we moved. I get off, and my phone rings, and it says, "Hey, Bob, this is Paul Anka." I said, "What?" I said, "This isn't Paul." He says, "I just told you it's me, Paul Anka." I said, wow, what's up, man?" He says, "I'm going to come over." He said, "I saw your show." He said, I want to know if you want to sing a song with me tomorrow. And where are you? I'm going to come and pick you up right now. I said, "Holy cow!" So Paul Anka now. I just came there, no business. I was only there for an hour, and now I'm in with the Sinatra family. Paul Anka, this thing, all these people in no time at all, man.
How awesome.
My life just came that way. We went on the Tonight Show. Johnny Carson called me. People called up and said, "Johnny, saw you. We would like you to come down there." So I started doing the Tonight Show with Carson. And I wound up traveling with him for his shows when he'd go places. And we just had, my career just took off. And I was very fortunate, in that way, that I got in there like that. And we just became great friends. I went into the Dunes Hotel they tried me out for a week. And I wound up in there for, 14 years. 14 years straight I was in the place. And with all of them. And then I started going all of Jerry Lewis's things, and I did 23 shows every year with him, with the kids, and everything. So everything started to go, and then I'm still singing around, and I'm loving it. That's my whole thing is singing, and I'm so happy I got to talk to him.
What I got out of all this, so Nancy Sinatra wore a wig?
Oh.
She what? Was she what?
Nancy Sinatra wore a wig?
That's his takeaway, Bob.
You don't know what I had to do, man. I was like, all of a sudden, I'm just first time ever in the place, and it goes boom, and I went, "What is this? What do I do?" So everybody stood there, so I just picked it up and gave it to her, and the whole audience laughed so loud. So that's how it happened.
I mean, listen, first of all, this story is phenomenal. This is awesome. There's just not enough time on this show, I think. I can listen to you all day on your stories for sure. I mean, I'm hearing names like Jimmy Stewart. I'm hearing. I mean, these are all idols that I grew up with. Yeah,
they are.
And for the young kid who, in his Volkswagen, made the wrong turn, ended up in a place.
But had the guts to go up and.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, that takes stones, right? Yeah. I mean, and I understand where you're coming, and especially back then, you're like, I'm not dressed for this. I'm not, right. There's an image, especially in Vegas, and classic Vegas to me is, and I'm not biased to the new Vegas, but classic Vegas is Vegas to me. From the Stardust all the way through, right? And that's where it was Disney World for adults, really.
Much.
You're right. They had it for just a very short time, though. They got rid of it all,
and it became commercialized.
Yeah.
And listen, there's still great acts and stuff like that there. I'm not dismissing that, but it's that legendary classic. Walk into the casino, walk into the show. Everybody's got a martini. People are smoking inside right?
At that point.
And there was an atmosphere and an ambiance to it. And it was more than just a show. It was an experience. Yeah. And I don't think that it's hard to mimic that today. But with people like Bob, I think that we keep that legend alive.
Absolutely.
So Bob, are you doing this now still? Are you out here?
Yeah, I just got back from Carnegie Hall again. I did 4 Carnegie Hall shows, and they called me before to do the show. They said, "We're coming here," and they said, Bob, we got something really cool here that we'd like to know if you want to come back and do some things. So I said, yeah, okay. So, I mean, it's really exciting to work at Carnegie Hall.
Yep.
I'm sure you guys know what that's all about. And so I did that, and I've been doing a lot of those. Now I'm going to go back to, I've been doing so much work. I haven't stopped hardly. And I did the Sinatra show in Las Vegas for a solid year. I did it. And I just, that was wonderful in a big theater. And the people came in. It was just a great time for me. But I don't like to just I like to do Tony Bennett, like here's what I'm doing. And people are saying, they're always talking about the younger generation doing this. And I love the younger generation. I love all of them. But the thing is, like I said before, Sinatra and those guys made it possible for them to play. They started everything out going like that.
Yep.
So I like to do that, huh?
They laid the platform for sure.
Yeah. And so I like to do it, and I do. And I just worked consistently in Las Vegas up every single night, like I told you, for over 30 years. I was working, doing it, and got to know everybody. And I still like it now, and I'm out now performing all over the place. I was in China and Russia, and performed in there, and all through London, England, and all over the world. And I mean, a number of times I've been there. And I don't know how it happened, man. I just came in, and all this stuff happened to me, and now I've loved it, through the years. And right now I'm still singing. I just love it so much.
Let me ask you this.
Love to do something with you guys too. What?
Who's the most difficult voice that you do to get into character with?
Wow, that's a hard one. Because I do all like I want to do Billy Graham or Bill, what's his name? I can't. If I told a lie, but I got all these guys, and I got Tony Bennett like this here. It just happens. He's the guy right there. Who can I turn to? And all that. Nobody needs me, and it's Tony Bennett. And of course, Tom Jones is like this here. When he comes in, he says, yeah. So I'm in Tom Jones, and I've been doing that for years. But he's a great friend of mine. He and I worked together many, many, many times all over the place. And, Sammy Davis, just, it's like, here we are.
Oh my God.
And that's, and that's what we're doing, man. And it's, and he walks around and he's saying, as long as she needs me, and we're doing, hear my voice, where you are, and these, yeah, man. All these cats, and I don't know how it happened to me, but how it happened was Merv Griffin. Merv Griffin, one day at his house, he was all those people that came in to see Nancy, what I was telling about the big people. Well, it was another thing there. It was his home, and it was his birthday. So he said, Bob, would you like to come into my house for a birthday? I'm doing this. I said, yeah, I will. So I came into his house, and I was this young guy again. And I opened the door, and I was as nervous as could be, because when I opened it up, all of the same stars that I just told you about, that I was with, were all in there again, all over the place. And it was unbelievable. And it was just a big party for him, and I was nervous. So he started playing the piano. Merv's a good piano player. He played very good. So he was playing the piano, and he says, hey, Bob, why don't you come up over here and sing a song? I said, yeah, okay. So now the house probably had 200 people. It was he's got a mansion and everything. So he starts playing, and I had never done any impressions in my life at this time. He never heard me do anything either. I was just singing as myself. So all of a sudden, he played Johnny Mathis. Look at me. And I went into Johnny Mathis out of nowhere. I started doing Johnny Mathis, and he looked at me like, and he kept playing it. And when it was over, he said, well, I didn't know that you were impressionist. He says, I said, I didn't know that either, man. I said, I just started doing this. So all of a sudden he says, what do you mean you started? I said, I'm just starting. I never did that. It went in my head and I started doing this. He said, well, can you do somebody else? I said, I don't know. So the next thing he starts playing and he turns on Tony Bennett. And all of a sudden I just go in there, well, yeah, I guess I can try this one. So I go, who can I turn to? And I go through this whole, nobody needs me. And the whole audience just shutting up. They gave it in his room and sat down. And when I was done with that one, Robert Goulet was in the room and he was leaning at the wall back there. And he goes to me, he's standing like this. He goes, hey, kid, can you do me? Exactly what he did. So Merv says, do you know any one of his songs? I said, yeah, I know his songs. I don't know if I can do them or not. So we started out and he starts playing the piano and I go, if ever I would leave you, you remember the song? It wouldn't be in summer. See you in summer. I never would go. You know, I'm doing Robert Goulet. So I didn't know I could ever do it either. So as soon as he was done, he came off from where he was at before everybody. He said, wonderful, kid. And he grabbed me and hit me in the chest and knocked me all the way down. But he's known for doing that.
Yeah.
And he was just kidding with me too. It didn't hurt me that much. But all those things, I mean, the music has stayed with me. I've been very fortunate to have played with everybody. I worked 7 different shows with Frank Sinatra. And I did with him and with, I've done things with Sammy Davis the most. I did a lot with him and Tom Jones, but I really like to do my own music as well. So when I do my shows, when we get together and we get something going there, you know, I start the thing off like doing, you know, 4 or 5 shows of our songs of myself, and then I bring it into all the greats who made this all possible for all of us. And then I close with myself again.
Yeah, that was my next question. Do you do the performance as everybody, right?
Yes.
Everybody takes a piece of it. That's brilliant.
Yeah, we do that.
Brilliant.
And even if sometimes if people yelled up somebody's name, I'll do that for them too. So that's
Nice.
That's what I do. And yeah, it's really cool. I you know, I like it. And yeah, it just stayed with me for this many years.
So exactly how many singers can you impersonate? Have you kept an account?
You know, no, I really haven't. But I mean, all of I kind of do it, and it's unfortunate for a lot of people, but I'm into the jazz stuff more than other things. However, I do the country stuff too. Well, the girls all get prettier at closing time. You know, I mean, I do that one too for, you know, and all stuff like that because I worked with him with that other guy. So no, I just like to sing the music that I sing, the jazz music. I call it jazz too, which it is. But I sing other songs that everybody, you know, that digs and they all know.
Yeah, some familiar ground, sure.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I do the songs that Sinatra did and that Tony Bennett did. But you know, I do a lot of the other stuff that people have done. And I'd say for me, I've done right now, I have probably 3,000 songs almost that I could sing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I've got so many of them. I've just kept them all the time because the thing working in Las Vegas at the not Caesar's Palace, but the other one I was at, it was just absolutely fantastic coming in there because everybody knew me already because Sinatra and them, when I came into the first time, you know, I got to go in here and stuff. And I was, when I came into Las Vegas, it was just when things were starting to change. The younger generation was starting to come in a little bit more. And that's why Sinatra and those guys, they left and did things. But we went back to Caesar's Palace for a long time. A lot of them did. And I used to know them all. They used to come up to my room. When I got in there at the Dunes Hotel, they said, okay, Bob, you guys, I told you before, you give me for like 2 weeks, check it out. Well, I did it all and I stayed there. But what I would do also, I found out that the big stars didn't get a chance to come up and see me because they were at Caesars or other places, and they were performing when I was doing it, and it didn't work. I was up there. So I told them, listen, I want to change my record, or here by working. I'm going to bring it till 2 a.m. I want to start. And they said, what? I said, I want to do 2 a.m. Okay. And I said, there's a lot of people. It's Las Vegas. 2 a.m. is nothing for them. They're walking all over the place, people.
They're just starting their night,
Yeah,
right?
So they did. And from that point on, the first night that I was there, I came in, and I come in like this, or I come in to work, and I go up and I've got like a strep throat thing or something I can't send now. The first time I go in, I go up there, so I go down to the guy that's working there, and I said, man, my throat. And at that point, Vic Damone walked by, and he said, what's up, kid? I said, well, I don't know, I swallowed something. So he goes to me, he says, come here. He said, he tells the guy there, he says, see that gene card, whatever card, Drews or whatever it was. He says, bring it down here. So he brings the whiskey down. He says, here. He said, you're going to take this now? He said, don't spread it. I'll just take it. So I poured it. It burned me so much. I was tears coming out, man. I ran back down where I was at over there and everything, and waited for about 3-4 minutes. And I came back, and my voice I could make it. So I go back there, and he says, how'd it work? And I said, fantastic, man. So I looked around. I didn't know who was there. But I looked at the people first time like this here. There was Steve Lawrence Gourmet. There was Tom Jones and Engelbert Humperdinck with their people too. There was Billy Eckstein, Joe Williams, Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett. Everybody, Liberace was even there when I did it. And he was with George Burns. This guy was with him. That was George Burns. I'm doing him now.
George Burns.
So I did all that, and I went up there to this one. So I get up there. I say, okay, Bob. I was nervous, man. I mean, those are the biggest stars in the world there. So and it's in a small room, but really cool on the top of the hotel, right there, top one. So they all were there. So I get up to start singing, and I'm singing the first time, and thank you very much, everybody. I'm singing, I'm up and I'm ready to try something new, and I'm singing like this. I don't know where I'm going, but I must see it through. The nightlife's so different. And now somebody comes walking up the side of me. I see it over there, and I didn't know who it is. And he comes up and takes the mic right out of my hand while I'm singing, when I just met all these people. And he looks at me and he says, oh, wait, what did he say? He said, not quite right. He said, go sit down. So, and it was, who's our funny guy that was, talks, to everybody. I can't even get his name here anymore. The real funny guy that talks and he takes everything away. What are you saying? Yeah, you stink. He's, oh my God, I've got to get him for you. He's written my book. He's the most famous guy. All of you guys know him. Where is it? Right here. Because he's really, and he came up and said that to me.
There goes Bob.
Don't worry about it.
That's fine, Bob.
Yeah.
I'll find it, man.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Anyway, that's where I went to. He hits people and he does everything. This is the guy and he's walking around and he's talking to you and he says, yeah, nice question. You stink. And he's going over to here. You know who that guy is? He's the funniest guy. He went with Sinatra. He went with Sinatra. It was his opening act with him and everything. Yeah. And then he became real big.
Yeah. I know exactly.
Don
Rickles?
Don Rickles.
Don Rickles, yes. That's who it was. It was Don Rickles.
All you had to say was every roast.
That's right. He walked up to me out of nowhere and he took it. He says, sit down. You don't know what you're doing. And all these stars are right in front of me. Like I went, oh my gosh. And he walked right out. And what he did, not only that, he got out there and he goes with some of the great stars there. He says, come on, get up here. So he gets the stars up And they start playing stuff, and he says, "Go sit down." So I sit down, and Steve Larson and Ego May were up there, and they all started singing, and Jack Jones came up and started singing, and they were just putting me in a hole, like they were making me laugh so hard. But that's how, and so I became friends with all the big stars in the whole strip, man.
That's
It's been a wonderful thing, and just all that. And I mean, I could continue to tell you so much.
No, listen, man, this is like a 12-parter. You know what? I think you and I need to have a discussion, obviously outside of the show,
Sure.
About some stuff coming out. I love the stories, and there might even be a good segment here,
Absolutely.
right, for down the line.
We got to. There's so many. Oh, here's what I got. What you'll be able to get very soon. A big company that I never heard of before, came to me and said, "Bob, we want to make a book about you." So they did, and right now it's almost completed. It's only like a month away. It's completed, and it's a 600-page book, and it's all about my whole life, where I started in Vietnam and what it took me through all the way through the music business.
Yep.
And everybody, when you see it, I'm going to get it to you guys, because when you see this book, it's amazing. It's got everybody in it that I worked with in show business. All the biggest stars are with me in the book and everything. And I couldn't believe it. They come up to me and they said, "Don't worry about it." They said, you don't have to pay for anything. You'll make some money on this. He said, "We're doing this book." And now it's done, and it's going to be finished within a month.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
What's the title of the book?
Well, that's what we're doing. They're still working on that, but no, I've got it somewhere here.
There goes Bob.
Here's me and
Thank God Bob's not in his underwear. You know what I mean?
Goodness, right?
exactly. Oh, you guys can see this now.
Ever since the COVID,
Here's me
right?
and Frank Sinatra working together, and both these here. Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin. Tell you this one real quick. Came over to right here. He came over to the Golden. He was. I could tell you guys a lot of things. I take off like that, and that's too much to take with you right now. But all these guys I've worked with, and it was just a wonderful thing. And they really, they really went along with me. And I got into the Sands Hotel when Frank Sinatra left to go to Caesar's Palace. He told them, "I want to give this to Bob Anderson. This is his room now." And Sinatra put me on at the Sands Hotel for like a year. And
you were blessed.
Yeah, it was just amazing, man. I really enjoyed it.
What an opportunity, like several opportunities that just like not just fell in his lap, but got shot at him like bullets,
Exactly.
all at the same time. Building those relationships, all for the kid who made the wrong turn, ended up, right? I mean, what a great story. I love it. I wish we had more time for it.
Yeah, and I really can't even. I can't believe how it happened myself either. But
you definitely got the guardian angel looking over your shoulder, my friend. Because,
absolutely, yeah.
That's fantastic. And listen, I because of that way that happened to you, I know for a fact that you give anybody and everybody the chance that was in your position, especially if they needed it, right?
Yes. Yeah,
you remember those days and you passed.
Yeah, that's very nice of you. Thank you.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, really, it was really fun. And still to this day, I love getting around with all these people, everybody. And I still love singing, man. I don't know what happened to me, but I just love singing. And I was fortunate enough that I could sing, and everything. And the thing went well. Hey, I've got something I could send to you too. Did you guys ever get the record of me? The music, the record?
We have not yet.
Nope.
No.
Oh man, I'll get it to you right now. When we hang up, I'll give it to my son. If you give me where to on your deal or what he can send it to, I'll get it to you in 10 minutes.
Yeah, awesome.
We'll do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic.
You'll hear. It's a new album that I just did.
Okay.
Me just doing myself. I'm not doing any impressions. It's
No,
just really,
that's great. Is that online too, or is that for sale for people?
no, it's going to be for sale when
Okay.
we got it.
Okay.
But right now, no, it is for sale right now. But we've got it just shortly ago, and I'm doing another one now. But it's songs that it's really cool, and I want to send it to you so you guys can hear it.
I would love to hear it. I'm honored. Yeah, that would be fantastic. Let us know about that book too. I'm collecting autographed books, my friend.
Okay, so you know
know,
mine. So you could when we're done here, you can just send yours over to me. We'll get it, and then I'll send it right back to you, and you'll be able to right there see it, and you can get it right
Awesome.
there on the computer.
Yep.
And you play all the music.
I love it.
That'd be
See what
great.
it's about.
If anybody listening would like to purchase your CD,
Where do they
or
go?
Music, where do they go?
Well, they go right on right here, and right here's my
Bob Anderson Music.
Yeah, it's right here. I can never keep anything.
There goes Bob again.
What? Here it is.
Bob's on the run.
What about Bob?
Yeah, right. This is the album, or this is the record,
Okay.
and we got this here.
Hold
And
it
what they
Put
and
it up to the screen, bud.
this here is the inside, just writing everything, but this is the record.
Okay.
First we just did.
Yep.
Yeah,
raise it up.
Higher.
Raise it up a little higher. We can't see it.
Oh, okay. I
A
didn't
little
know.
lower. A little lower. A little lower. Right there. Right
There you
there.
go.
Right there. There you go.
If I go in,
Yep. You're good. You're good.
yeah, this is the record, and then this is written about it, and so we're doing another album right now,
Okay.
and but I will get you. Let me know, and I'll send it right out to you. And yeah, there's people that are getting it right now, and I don't know where I got to ask my son how he did it. He handles it. I don't even do that anymore.
Sure.
I'm just a singer. That's all I do.
Do what you do best, man. You're always about the who, never.
Oh
the
yeah.
how. Just if you have the right who that knows the how, why do you need to know how if you already have the who? Right?
Before we sign off, I bet
Yep.
you, since we're from Chicago, maybe you could do a little Sinatra, My Kind of Town Is.
Oh, I'm gonna do it. My kind of town, Chicago is. My kind of town, Chicago is. One town that won't let you down. I do Sinatra song all the time. I do stuff. Yeah, I do all. Matter of fact, I just do. If somebody says, Bob, hey Bob, can you do this guy or something? I do it. I don't know how I do it, but I do it. I just turn around and I do it. The person too. Johnny Mathis walked up to me. Now this is between. Are people listening to this right now?
Yeah, people will be listening to this pre-record, so this will be scheduled out.
Okay. Well, what happened? What happened with him, with Johnny Mathis? We were in Las Vegas getting something. I was getting a tuxedo on and stuff, and then we were buying it there. And we walked up. He happened to walk up to look at the deal here when you're putting the thing on, and he walked up right there when I did too. And he had about 5 different guys with him over there too, and they were there. And he looked at me, and I looked at him. I go, "Oh man!" I said, "Johnny Mathis, wow, what a." He says, "No," he says, "Listen, you do me." He starts yelling, "Do me, do me, do me!" And I was thinking, that ain't what something I want to say in here right now. Okay, so that's what he stepped. I was going to tell you, you got somebody listening, but he didn't mean that. But I mean, it was like out of nowhere, "Do me, do me, do me." And I said, "Oh, wait on, hold on, man."
Right.
So then we became
all together.
Yeah.
so we became great friends for a long time. I'm still a great friend of his, and it's it's really really funny. Got him. All those guys. I was so lucky. I got in with every one of the biggest stars. They all became friends of mine. I just knew them all, and it's just unbelievable. Let's get together sometime, and I'd love to work with you guys and do something with you. And,
Fantastic.
We'll do it.
Fantastic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Bob Anderson, the man of many stories that I wish it could go 3 hours. It really can.
I think we'll have a part 2.
Yeah, we might have to have a part 2 on this. So, Bob, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, keep on.
Keep on keeping on. Smile and be kind out there around the piano.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for taking a coffee break with us. We'll be back to our program in a minute. But hey, Drew, let's talk Piano Trends music for a minute here.
Piano Trends, one of my favorite conversations. We're talking trumpets. We're talking pianos. We're talking saxophones, trombones, trumpet, you name it, guitars, acoustical guitars, customized guitars, lessons. Listen, books. They got everything. PianoTrends.com. Please check them out. Tim, what is it that you're known for at Piano Trends?
Service, rentals, sales, repair, lessons, everything. We're the small shop that does everything in our community.
Love it. Check them out. Shoot them a quick address if they want to come visit you.
35 Berkshire Drive, Crystal Lake, Illinois. But you can find everything on the website at pianotrends.com.
PianoTrends.com. Thanks, folks.
See you later.